Were you here last night, or did you just arrive this morning?
Arrived. Just got here. Yeah.
Just landed, folks.
Yeah.
We can confirm it.
It was so good. Like I wouldn't. Absolutely, I want to go again next year, and I think you ought to too. We got to get the whole crew down.
Saving Hangar B.
Okay.
Where are the aliens gonna go? We need a hangar for the ship.
Man, to sum it up, you guys had an awesome weekend.
Yeah, that's an understatement, Pat. Like I told that guy on the street, I wish it was my 10th time at the festival. I've been missing out this whole time, and I had no idea.
How many UFO Fests have you attended, would you say?
See, probably a good 20 at least.
20! Unbelievable.
To commemorate the photograph that took place there on May 11th, back in 1950.
Based off of what we heard last night, there are pyramid-shaped crafts that are interacting with us in one way or another.
I was doing my business, of course, and I looked up and I thought, well, what is going on? And I thought maybe they're stars, but then they were kind of right, almost like 3D in front of me, and I could kind of see a little bit of a silhouette, like they were right.
It seemed to be all across the globe with I forget the name, but when they basically shape their heads to become elongated all across the globe. That is kind of weird, though.
Yeah, the cultural, aspect, these elongated skulls, I think they've demonstrated how you could do it in modern day to a person. Like you just start putting.
They had an SR-71 Blackbird in there, Pat. And to me, that's about as cool an airplane they've ever made. So.
Well, this has been an item on your list you've been wanting to cross off for a long time.
Awesome today, and congratulations. So, do you know if it's a boy or a girl, or are you gonna wait?
Classified information.
Classified. So you're gonna wait until.
Yeah, we're gonna wait until the moment I'm not particularly looking forward to.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
This is even just cooler that I get to do this with you guys. Whoever would have thought, many, many years ago at Eastern Washington, flash forward a couple decades and some change, that we would have a podcast.
I just met these guys, don't know them, but they said that they got ETU. What'd you say was the slogan?
ETU. Well, I don't normally say it. Crooks, it's up to you, buddy.
Crooks, say it, buddy.
Let's talk UFOs.
Okay, so these guys talking UFOs, I'm listening. That's all I got to say. Except UFOs are real, you've been told.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Extraterrestrial University, the ETU crew with us here. Fresh off a big event over in McMinnville, Oregon. So let's work our way around the horn. I guess we can go work our way clockwise, left to right. Tone, UFO Fest. You guys had the chance to attend. Break it down for us a little bit, and then we'll be able to kind of deep dive a little bit further. I know that each of you have a lot to talk about. So we'll start with Tone, because you're kind of the veteran when it comes to going to this event.
Oh my gosh, Pat. It's like Christmas, Easter, and Halloween all wrapped up in one. It's my biggest day of the year. I love it. Yeah, year 3. And I wish it was year 25 for me. They've been rolling for a long time, but I love every second of being there. I don't know. Well, I know what it is. It's all my people are there in one spot. But Crooks, how'd it feel? Stepping onto that street and seeing the big banners across the main road there, and the atmosphere and all the windows decorated with aliens, everybody aliened out.
Yeah, that was a real trip. Like, we rolled into town, Pat, on a Friday, and they already had like the core of the city blocks all barricaded off, and like it was all the streets were just open to pedestrian traffic, like right from the get-go. The banners hanging across, the street, and so many props and, everything, everybody. You could tell that McMinnville, this isn't the first time they've hosted this event, and like they figured out how to do it really well over the past 26 years. So it was amazing. And then when the real crowds started to roll in on Saturday, like, oh my gosh, we heard from locals that like 30,000 people descend into the town on a Saturday. And I think they might be telling the truth. That place was packed, Pat. You would never, well, we've got footage from the parade, tremendous. So many people, standing room only everywhere. I mean, just a huge event, and everybody's there, like-minded, looking, to enjoy the UAP and UFO topic. So it was amazing.
How many people live in McMinnville normally before the crowds descend for UFO Fest?
I think I've looked it up before, and it's similar to Pullman, but it sure feels a lot bigger than Pullman, Washington.
Okay, because Pullman is right about, what, 35,000?
Yeah, around there, 32.
Yeah. So basically it essentially doubles in population for UFO Fest.
Yeah. Man, we got to get our ETU crew fans. If you can make it happen, got to make the trip. Kristen already said I'm in, and so we got Kristen for next year, and then Pat has to. Pat has to. We felt like we were missing an appendage, Pat.
Like 3 legs of the tripod.
I mean, there was some guilt I felt on my part, I know Pat would love this if he was here, but it was so good. Like I wouldn't, absolutely. I want to go again next year. And I think you ought to too. We got to get the whole crew down.
No, absolutely. But we will get a chance to rep another event here soon, which I'm excited about. And we'll talk about that as we go further. But I know we want to dedicate today's discussion to UFO Fest and everything that you guys experienced. So I guess what's one thing that jumped out to you, Crooks, being a newcomer to the festivities? That's probably a hard thing to ask somebody. What's just one thing? But if you could maybe narrow it down to a couple, what were the things that stood out to you initially?
Well, Pat, I got to say, when we, not everybody that's there actually goes and attends all the speakers, but, there's a large percentage of the people that are there, for the parade and just for the experience, all the things that are happening on Main Street, I'll say. But in the auditorium with the speakers, I was blown away by like how good the questions were that the audience would, the audience would get to ask questions of the speaker, at the end of the session. And there is a tremendous amount of knowledge that all these people in the audience possessed. Like, it just blew me away. Honestly, I felt, out of my league, just being in there with a lot of these people.
Hey, what's up, ETU crew? Crooks and I are fresh off coming out of the community center once again, and we sat through a lecture by Ancient Aliens longtime host Jason Martell. Is that his name, Crooks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I was mistaken initially, thinking he hadn't been involved with the show since day one, but I was corrected. He's been there since episode 1, season 1. So he's been along for the entire ride, 300 plus episodes of Ancient Aliens. So it was quite the treat to see one of those guys in the flesh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you've been a longtime fan as well. So trying to think back, it was an interesting talk. And overall, in my opinion, I feel like with all of these sites across the world that had sort of this, seemed like light, sound, frequency type, power type stuff, and then all of a sudden there was kind of vanishing of all these civilizations in somewhat. So I know, Crooks, you said that overall it was a bit of a review for you, but what are some takeaways?
Well, many civilizations, many cultures around the world, like there's a record in, in the stone, in the pyramids, in the ruins of all these civilizations across the world. But a common story, amongst all of them, is that there was maybe a giant flood that kind of wiped everything out, and everybody across the world has had to rebuild and restart all over again. But the things that we have today, airplanes, technology, ancient alien theory suggests that all these countries, all these communities around the world had access to that same technology tens of thousands of years ago, and it's been lost, and now we're rediscovering it all over again.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And also, some of them look like maybe future predictions of current technology that we have as well, like space shuttles and some of the spacecraft that we have. What did you think about the? It seemed to be all across the globe with the. I forget the name, but when they basically shape their heads to become elongated all across the globe, that is kind of weird, though.
Yeah, the cultural aspect, these elongated skulls. I think they've demonstrated like how you could do it in modern day to a person. Like you just start putting essentially like rubber bands around a baby's head, and it starts to mimic or control how that skull's going to get shaped. But how do societies, different cultures from different sides of the world all decide that they want to start doing that at the same time? The theory is that these guys are trying to mimic their gods or mimic beings, ETs potentially, that had come and interacted with their cultures. And this is a way to honor those folks, to try to look like they did.
Interesting. Didn't Martell mention some sort of kind of peer-reviewed or peer consensus that they were trying to imitate the gods? He mentioned something about that earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was the most sincere, form of, honor for these guys, is to kind of mimic the way that they looked. So for thousands of years, there's evidence of communities and people trying to imitate their gods.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, that's just a little tiny sampling of our talk today, and we're experimenting here with the new camera equipment, and maybe gonna unleash it down at Contact in the Desert as well. So, thanks again, ETU crew, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, we got a parade to get to.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Great job last night, Jeremy.
mean, some of these guys seem like legitimate physicists or, astronomers, like top tier, science, material, really intelligent, just awesome questions. And, I got a long way to go, but it's going to be a lot of fun doing it.
We were cracking up at this guy because you could tell that he was there for Rebecca Charbonneau, the scientist who has studied the history of SETI, and then also Matthew, is it Szydagis? I might be getting his last name wrong, but boy, he asked questions in both of those, and he had them written down. And if there's an equation written on a board that's takes up the whole thing, he was asking stuff like that. And Crooks, the jargon was so beyond what we could even comprehend. We're like, there's our guy. There's the guy again. We saw him a few times walking around.
In some cases, Pat, like super technical, like, really like deep, questions. And honestly, these speakers, a lot of them, they acknowledged like how incredible that question was. And, you could tell that they felt good having, kind of fans of their field, there in attendance, asking some, really constructive questions. So these guys, you could tell they were really enjoying the spotlight. And yeah, I was just happy to be there in attendance.
Yeah. Crooks, let's try to give them the 10,000 foot view and kind of in a minute, like what we did. So we went to the tent, got our shirts.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing we did when we got to the main street there, early Friday afternoon. Yeah, we went to the McMenamins tent. There was a big, like, city block tent basically covering this tent. There was a little bit of rain a couple nights, which the tent came in handy, but picked up some gear, some shirts, some hats, just starting to kind of get the layout of the, the whole place. And then I think by 3:00, we already had an appointment with our first speaker. And I think that was Dr. Matthew Szydagis.
Yeah, it was Matthew. And then we picked up our UAP pass, Pat. And
yeah, these were,
with the camera and the microphone, we had several people approach us. They thought we were official. And they're like, could you tell us where this is at? And they're, no, we need some coffee. So that was pretty funny. We kept getting approached and we're like, oh, these are just UAP passes you can buy.
And so what are the UAP passes? What do those get you? Like,
go ahead, Crooks.
Well, yeah, it was just a lanyard with kind of an official looking thing hanging on the front of it. But that UAP pass allowed us to attend every single speaker. They sold each of the speeches kind of a la carte, so if folks maybe didn't have the time to attend all 6 of the engagements, they could go to maybe the one in the evening, both nights, they could just buy those separately. But that pass that we had access to every single one of them.
Oh, nice.
So I suppose, amongst the crowd, we were kind of elite, I would say, in some regard.
Yeah, so we went to all the guest speakers. We did miss Kelly Chase. We meant to leave at 4, but with 5th grade camp and Orion had a track meet rescheduled, we got out at 5 and unfortunately missed Kelly Chase. But we ran into her in a really good Mexican restaurant and got a picture with her, which we'll probably be showing right now. And so we went to all the speakers. We did. It was Friday night. We did our first live show, or little experiment, and that was really fun.
I was really excited to see that because I was watching a podcast on my phone. Then I got the alert and I was like, yes, these guys are going live. I can't wait, because that's the very first time that ETU has gone live.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So another first check the box for that one. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, Pat. My phone was blowing up in my pocket while we were doing that live. I think it hit me up immediately. Yeah. The neighbor, Travis, he saw it. So that's cool that, the people respond to those alerts, when YouTube's like, hey, somebody, ETU's live. And it was cool that we had people like rushing to turn it on. So yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. And Pat, your name came up probably 50 or 60 times. Like, It's really for Crooks and I, we really have to go against probably our baseline personality, where Pat, you see folks and you got a microphone and a camera, and Pat, you're like a wolf seeing prey, and Crooks and I are like, I don't know, yeah, we just had to fake it. But I think it's just putting that foot forward. Once we started, we're like, wow, I mean, we only got rejected one out of the whole time.
See, that's really good. And then you guys landed a big fish.
I think so. Yeah.
I thought so. As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, you guys went for it and you capitalized. That was great.
I just met these guys, don't know them, but they said that they got ETU. What'd you say was the slogan?
ETU. Well, I don't normally say it, Crooks. It's up to you, buddy.
Crooks, say it, buddy.
Let's talk UFOs.
Okay, so these guys talking UFOs, I'm listening. That's all I got to say. Except UFOs are real, you done been told.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got some, strangers completely. Like the first time we laid eyes on them, like we kind of, are these folks given the vibe? Are they outgoing? Are they going to be willing to talk? And that parade scene was a great opportunity to talk to people. But hi, we're down on the main drag here. We're getting ready. The parade's imminent. It's going to be happening soon. But we've ran into a local that's about to give us some information on
saving Hangar B.
Okay.
Where the aliens going to go? We need a hangar for the ship. So Hangar B is out in Tillamook, Oregon, and it was damaged in a storm, and we are trying to save it so that the aliens, because they are on the way and they need a place to stay. So Hangar B, save the hangar.
All right, this is a large hangar for blimps or something?
It is the largest standing wooden structure in the United States. And there's only 5 left, but it's the only one that you could tour. The other one is down at Moffett Field that's being used by LTA, which is lighter than air, and Sergey Brin. So we're hoping Sergey says, I got a couple billion, we'll save it. So
excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Welcome, ladies. This is my first visit to the parade. Is there anything I should be looking for, or what can I expect?
People out of this world, just out of this world. Well, welcome.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. It's actually my first appearance at UFO Fest. Have you guys attended, how many of you attended in the past?
This is my 3rd year, and I come in from Phoenix, Arizona to attend this. So it's fun.
We're besties. I live in Dallas, Oregon, so I'm happy she comes up and visits me.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. All right. The parade is imminent. We're just moments away, but we found a lucky fan who was present at last night's tremendous presentation with Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, and Mr. Borland, the whistleblower. Any ideas, any thoughts you want to share from what you saw last night?
Yeah, I mean, based off of what we heard last night, there are pyramid-shaped crafts that are interacting with us in one way or another. And another person who asked a question after I did even talked about his own experience with them, and it actually sparked conversations with us too, that there's even more of that and going on, and that more people in the public are seeing. And based off of that and the seeming inscriptions that looked Egyptian on the side, sort of like hieroglyphics, that leading into the talk this morning with Jason Martell of Ancient Aliens, it just seems like the ancients are coming back. I don't know, maybe they've always been here this whole time. And I think disclosure is coming to us in many forms with the nuts and bolts, crafts and grays and all that, but I think there's a spiritual revolution happening at the same time that is sort of this undercurrent that nobody's really talking about in the same way that we are just, what's a flying disc? What's a flying saucer? It's a revolution, and before long, disclosure is going to be upon us, whether we like it or not.
Wow, fantastic. That Disclosure Day movie, the Spielberg production's coming out shortly, in a month or so. Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. But I just want to add, this is my first visit to UFO Fest. I imagine this is not your first time.
No, this would be my 2nd year, but about my 20th year of researching.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you alluded, Pat, we did score a couple nice, interviews and some film time with a couple of the speakers. So That was amazing.
It was awesome today, and congratulations. So, do you know if it's a boy or a girl, or are you gonna wait?
Classified information.
Classified. So you're gonna wait until.
Yeah, we're gonna wait until the moment I'm not particularly looking forward to.
No, I hear you. Yeah, today was awesome. At one point, Brian and I looked at each other and we're like, radio waves are light? Can you expand upon that a little bit?
Yeah, so they're all part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So radiation is all around us all of the time. Light is both a wave and a particle. And so when we're talking about things like radio waves, they're not, people confuse them with sound waves because we so strongly associate radio with communication, right? And hearing things. But it's the same thing as light. It's just at a much longer wavelength than our eyes capable of picking up.
Yeah, that blew our minds. Okay, we're gonna take it to another level of weirdness here, and then we'll let you go. We were listening to a podcast. He was a producer of the show called. I forgot the name of it, but he was having a premiere at his house, and a Navy guy walked through, handed him a sheet in his backyard, and it was like light, sound, and frequency. He took out a piece of paper with a bunch of equations. He's like, here's the key to interstellar travel. What in the world? How would light, sound, and frequency, just speculating, have to do anything with interstellar travel? Yeah.
So if he had something interesting written down on that paper that could make a big difference, I would recommend that he try to publish it in a scientific journal, for one thing. That is where the discourse is happening. And in terms of what light has to do with travel, certainly we know that the fastest thing in the universe is light. Nothing, as far as we know, can go faster than the speed of light. And so in some ways it's like a galactic speed limit. And so in that way we can learn a lot from light in terms of the limitations of what we're capable of doing. But of course the fun thing about science is that we're always learning new things all of the time. And so there's a lot about the universe, way more about the universe that we don't understand than we do. And so this is what makes fields like astronomy so exciting, is that we're always learning new things, and hopefully some of those things that we learn we can translate into practical things that we can use to explore space.
Wow, that's perfect. Thanks for the insight, and those guys should get that published. Yeah, for sure.
Should. I always recommend publishing. Your ideas don't go anywhere if no one reads them.
Good point. Thank you, Rebecca, for your time.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
And before honestly, Pat, Sunday when we were like packing up to leave, I think we thought that all the filming was over, and I think I was downstairs in the Airbnb, kind of getting my last bag ready. And I hear Tone kind of run down the stairs. He's like, Crooks, get out here quick. We got an experiencer. We're going to do one more video real quick. So yeah, you just never know when you're going to run into somebody. It was the proprietor of the Airbnb had a story to share.
Hey, ETU crew, I think I stumbled upon a little gold nugget here, about ready to check out of the wonderful, by the way, Chip, Airbnb. I have never gotten a tour of an Airbnb before. You showed us everything, all the ins and outs of the house. That was
things work, it makes the stay better if you know what's going on. Yeah,
a light in the shower. You're doing the dishes for us.
I will do the dishes tonight when you leave. I haven't done too much for you yet,
but we really enjoyed our stay and had a lot of fun. But yeah, on the way out of here, you mentioned that you had somewhat of an experience, and we call those people experiencers. And we did some interviews. Crooks is behind the camera right now. We did some interviews, but we didn't really go that route. We were just getting used to talking to folks. So could you just tell us your story real quick?
Sure. Actually, I'll go back to my mother used to drive me around, and I lived in Salt Lake City, Utah. My mother used to drive us around in the Bronco because it was snowing all the time in the winter. So she actually saw what she said was a UFO, lights, and I was in the back throwing papers, so I didn't see it. She said it was like a hot white orange flashing, and it kind of hovered over the car and then gone. Of course, she didn't really think anything about it until after we got home and stuff, and she goes, boy, I wonder what that was. My mom wasn't really into UFOs or anything, nor was I, because I was super young. Mm-hmm. So, progress down the road. Oh boy, I was probably 19, so that was 10 years later. southern Utah, around Moab, around Arches. We had been out on a party boat, running up and down Texas tours. It was a big paddle boat full of beer kegs, and I'm not saying I was super drunk, but I might have been a little lit. So we get off the boat and we go back into Arches, and we're going to spend the night there. And this is before there was a visitor center or any gates or anything. So we just stumbled out of the car, and I remember going to the bathroom, walking away and going to the bathroom, and I looked up, two white light, like hot, bright, kind of orange flashing, and they were maybe, well, it's hard to tell at night. I'm going to say they were 200 yards away from me, up, but that's a guesstimate. And I was doing my business, of course, and I looked up and I thought, well, what is going on? And I thought maybe they're stars, but then they were kind of right, almost like 3D in front of me, and I could kind of see a little bit of a silhouette, like they were right there. And as I turn, of course, to go get someone, say, hey, what's going on? They take off. They're
instantaneous acceleration,
just so fast that I thought maybe, boy, am I that messed up? But that was it. And they were right there. They were right in front of me.
The two stories are somewhat similar, and
they were the same. I kind of related that to that. My mom thinking, boy, it was a kind of a white, bright light with orange in it. And she only saw one, but I saw two. And they took off simultaneously together. And then they were gone.
Yeah, I feel like either you're the lucky one, or maybe there's Gary Nolan at Stanford has studied people's brains that have UAP, is the new term for UFO. Right. That I forget what part of the brain, but they have something different about that part of the brain that either allows them to perceive it or something like that. But another thing, there was a whistleblower that came out on Friday with some new information, but his original experience at Congress was that he was at a base, he saw something rise from a hangar, and it came right over him. Triangle, right, Crooks? Yeah, triangle shaped. Hovered there for like 3 minutes, and then he said it took off and went so fast and so far. He goes, no way it could be anything we have. And then he said it just looked like a satellite, like a little star moving. He said it went from that to that.
I've seen the satellite. Well, the supposedly satellites were down in Mackenzie River on camping, and the lights there's so many stars, and it's like no lights anywhere, and all of a sudden you could see those satellite, but they're moving so fast, and then there's so many. I'm thinking, oh, that's so weird. There's so many satellites that are so close together and stuff, and I don't know, but.
Yeah, there's just a lot of pattern matches, and I think, like we discussed at the festival, it's not like just one case makes it, convincing. It's the whole kind of storyboard. So, well, hey Chip, appreciate it. I know this is probably the most random thing that's ever happened.
Not like a crazy, like the aliens landed, but I remember it. I always remember that.
Yeah, but I think that lends to the credibility as well, because it's not like you were like, I was abducted and then all this stuff. But I mean, that could be real. Those could be real things, but
it could be. They very could. I don't doubt anything anymore. For sure.
Yeah. Well, all right. You heard it here first, ETU crew. Thank you, Chip. It was a wonderful stay, and hopefully we'll be back next year.
You anytime. You're always welcome in McMinnville.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
There are a lot, and he's considered to be a local McMinnville resident.
He's got
to know more about that, though. How many people in McMinnville have had experiences like his?
Oh, well, we didn't really go the experiencer route. We were just like Crooks and I just really wanted to just Crooks was calling them softball questions, but I think they're more just, hey, we just we're everyday folk like you are. Just want to say hi.
You were able to get the temperature of the culture, essentially, of what was going on. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I know we reached out to you, Pat. You know, I think we told you that we were going to embark, out there and go out there and try to, talk to people. And
yeah,
you were channeling, courage and the mentality that we were going to need to go out there and kind of get it done. But yeah, I think you did us right. You steered us well.
Yeah, you guys cracked the surface. I'd say approximately 2 weeks from now, we're going to be able to really do some damage.
Oh, we're going to be
contacting the desert,
in the belly of the beast down there. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Doing damage in the best way possible in terms of, I feel like you have some negative connotations, but really getting out there, getting some good content amongst a large group of like-minded people, very similar to what you experienced in McMinnville, Oregon.
Yeah, I think so. And Corbell said it well. He's like, man, I'm just out here to get the truth. And I think, at the end of the day, we just want to know what's going on. We're trying to figure out just like everybody else. So,
man, to sum it up, you guys had an awesome weekend.
Yeah, that's an understatement, Pat. Like I told that guy on the street, I wish it was my 10th time at the festival. I've been missing out this whole time, and I had no idea.
No, I feel the same way. I mean, this thing's been going on forever, and I just heard about it a few years ago.
Yeah, seems to get bigger word of mouth every year. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we snuck in that little bonus visit to the Evergreen Air and Space Museum Sunday before we left town, and that was quite something to see too. The spruce goose, that's a big deal. It's only ever flown one time, but we were able to see it and touch it, and I was particularly excited about they had an SR-71 Blackbird in there, Pat. And to me, that's about as cool an airplane they've ever made. So,
well, this has been an item on your list you've been wanting to cross off for a long time.
Yeah, somehow I had some opportunities in the last few years to do that, but I wish I would have known about UFO Fest sooner. Like, that seems like a no-brainer at this point. Anybody down in the area in May, and I think it was pretty consistent, maybe around the third weekend in May, they were saying, to commemorate the photograph that took place there on May 11th, back in 1950.
Yeah, Trent family farm. If the missus wouldn't have been tending to rabbits, this festival wouldn't have happened.
And how common was it, do you think, Pat, that people living on a farm in rural Oregon would even own a camera in 1950? But these guys had one, and a famous photograph, one of the most famous ones, in UAP UFO lore. So kudos to the citizens of McMinnville, wanting to honor that photograph, that tradition of that story, and they've been putting on a tremendous festival for 26 years now. So incredible.
Shout out to McMenamins. I'm a big fan of all their various establishments that are scattered throughout Portland and that greater region. So that's cool that they're involved with this as well. So
you sound like George Knapp, Pat. He was like, this is a match made in heaven. I love coffee and I love beer and I love what else? What else did he say, Crooks? Coffee, beer. Oh, restoring old buildings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he was kind of teasing the fact that, maybe he's kind of old himself, but yeah, definitely, having that McMenamins Hotel. I mean, it's, they've got a certain style. They're always kind of old buildings, either refurbished or they're just keeping it, they've got a unique, kind of atmosphere that they create and across all their properties. So I've visited a few of them myself, Pat, and it's always pretty fun to check them out.
Yeah, they specialize in creating boutique experiences. I'd say like the Edge, not the Edgewater, the
Edgefield.
Edgefield, there we go. Yeah, the one that's in Troutdale. Yeah. That's a pretty amazing place too. Talk about a campus. So, man, I guess kind of breaking down some of the videos we had a chance to look at. Man, you got some really great man on the street interviews.
I felt like, Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I was, repping like the Howard Stern show or something down there, kind of just mixing it up. Well, kind of joking with that character that said he was, just arrived from Alabama. I think I was initially kind of teasing him, like trying to figure out how long of a drive that was for the guy. But, I think he said he flew in. So, yeah. That was pretty fun. Yeah, we're live at UFO Fest 26. Again, I got to remind everybody, it's my first time.
My first time too.
Your first time?
First time from Alabama.
Alabama, no kidding.
Gulf Shores, yeah.
We came from Eastern Washington, which, about a 7-hour drive, but I couldn't imagine how long it took to get here from Alabama.
Well, I was at Bend working at the mountain, and then I came up here. I have family up here visiting, so yeah, it's a good time.
Were you here last night, or did you just arrive this morning?
I just arrived, just got here. Yeah.
Just landed, folks.
Yeah.
We can confirm it. Well, have a great day, man. Thanks for stopping and talking to us.
Have fun out here. Yep. Have a good one.
Very good.
Cheers.
Thanks. All right, we're on the main drag. The parade again is imminent. Are you going to be starring in the parade today? Or are you just a fan?
I'm just a fan.
Okay.
Yep. I used to do it off and on about 4 years ago. Every time I was in the parade.
In it. Okay.
Yep.
How many UFO fests have you attended, would you say?
See, probably a good 20 at least.
20, unbelievable. I mean, it's only gone on about 26 or 27 years, so you've been here practically since the beginning.
Yep, I was here at 2004 till now.
Wow.
I'm almost 26, 2 months.
Tremendous, thank you very much.
It's nice to come. It's nice to see all the locals come out, and also be able to see all the new faces of out-of-towners, be able to experience this for the first time. So hopefully they come back again.
Yeah, everybody's been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's my first time, and I feel like I wish it was my 10th time because we're having such a blast. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and when that other guy tipped his hat and his brain is hanging out.
Yeah, we didn't see that coming. That was a last-minute reveal. We didn't know that ahead of time.
Man, yeah, he gave you the full-scale bow. Removing the hat and everything. I was impressed.
Oh yeah.
And then when I saw it, I was like, man, this guy is part zombie.
Then you can't find a nicer guy than Chip. I mean, yeah, he gave us the grand tour and showed us every little thing about the house and made us feel welcome. And his wife also had a story, but she was not too excited to get in front of the camera. Yeah. But she had a story similar to Highway 26. If all ETU crew, if you don't remember that one, it was just kind of a cat and mouse of a weird light. So that was a weird pattern match as well.
Yeah, Pat, I think her story took place in Utah as well. So I'm not sure if Chip and his wife, had relocated to Oregon. Maybe perhaps they grew up or used to live in Utah, but it seemed like both of them, part of their story, was tied back to Utah. So that was a possibility.
It makes sense. I've heard Moab is a place that does have a few experiences on record.
Ooh, Pat, that southern Utah area, Chip, he did mention that he's got a friend that's the mayor of a town down there. And he had just gone down in January to visit when they got, sworn in again. They just won re-election for the town mayor. But he said they have programs down there where they actively try to get the citizens to turn the lights out at night so people can just really enjoy the sky and the stars, without the pollution from light.
Wow. See, that's pretty cool because what's the population of that place? Do you know?
No, I don't have that number for you tonight, Pat, but
I'm just curious because that sounds like a cool experience. Because people, I think, lose sight of a lot of opportunities because of light pollution, especially for people that live in the city or have never experienced something in a more rural setting. So
it's a great idea. I don't know if we mentioned in one of the shows, but do you guys remember the Northridge earthquake in California?
Yes.
So the lights went out and people could see, the galaxy, the spiral arm of our Milky Way, and they got hundreds of 911 calls of a gas leak in the sky, and they're like, no, that's our galaxy.
Oh, these folks in Southern California had just never had an opportunity to see it before.
Yeah, they thought it was. They thought some sort of gas was in the sky.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, this is just a warm up. I got to finish post UFO Fest McMinnville laundry, but Pat, man, we're just getting warmed up. We're going to the mecca of the UFO world. We're going to a conference this time. I mean, guaranteed everybody in the lobby will be primed, ready to go, ready to have a conversation. You know, on road trips, I mean, that's the fun part. We got a 4.5 hour road trip there and back. Lots of time to have great conversations. Crooks and I, you know, once you start getting a little tired, I'm like, hey, Crooks, do you mind if I make up a story about something just weird happening to Pat down at Contact in the desert? And we're getting to thinking, and I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if like Pat got pulled into a room by some big guys in suits and you get roughed up a little bit, but it turns out, you know, maybe they put a mask over your head, and it turns out you're going to be the heir apparent to Coast to Coast. You're going to replace George Knapp. Will you accept or not?
I would accept. I don't know if I'm the right guy for it, but I would accept that kind of.
Oh, I know you are. You're the guy.
I don't have the knowledge that you two gentlemen have.
But we were talking about you're the broadcasting major, Pat. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is true. It's funny. Yeah, I did broadcast for 10 or so years, and then stepped away and became an educator. But I've always been able to keep my hands in it in some way or another. So, and this is even just cooler that I get to do this with you guys. I mean, whoever would have thought, many, many years ago at Eastern Washington, flash forward a couple decades and some change, that we would have a podcast on this kind of thing. Not I. So
no way. Definitely not on this topic for sure.
No, but I mean, I know that seed had been planted for Crooks a long time. He was telling me stories, about listening to Coast AM with Art Bell, way back when. So, the seed was planted and it came to fruition later on. So here we are.
Yeah, I don't think any of us saw this coming.
No.
Well, you and I in particular, I think Tone, really kind of in the last few years kind of became, hungry to like discover more and find answers about this UAP topic. But I recall last fall, Pat, we were sitting in Martin Stadium with Tone watching a football game, and he posed, the question to us. You guys want to get together and, try to make a YouTube show? Do you guys want to do it on UFOs? How's that sound?
Because on the bus ride, our conversations were just like, we're always kind of goofing around, having fun. And I noticed everybody in the bus would be like, I'm like, hey, we're kind of podcasting in real life anyway.
That's true. We just took it to a platform and we keep making this thing roll. I had somebody reach out to me recently, and they're like, man, you do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, I'm part of a podcast. And they're like, how long have you been doing this? I said, 5 months ish, give or take. And they're like, how come you never told me? I'm like, the algorithm, my friends.
Trust the algorithm.
Trying to trust the algorithm. But that is hard, because I do like talking about this, because I'm proud of the product that we've put together, and it gets better with every show. And it's cool. You get to go to Alien Fest, and then we get to rock and roll down to the desert for Contacting the Desert, and we're going to be able to nail even more interviews. So it's going to be exciting from a content perspective. It's going to be a journey. So let's maybe give a preview of what it looks like. We leave Spokane, Washington on Thursday night, arrive in Vegas, and then where does it take us from there?
Well, I think we're going to arrive in Vegas kind of late Thursday, maybe around like 11 o'clock or something. I imagine there'll be, some kind of a task in order to secure our rental car, but we're staying, in a hotel down near downtown Vegas off Fremont. And then Friday, we're going to drive to Palm Desert, 4.5 hour, trek through the desert there, Pat. So it'll be during daylight hours. I think we were hoping to see something strange at night, in the desert, but we'll have a couple opportunities, in Palm Desert. So
originally, Pat, we were gonna drive through the night. I mean, I think I was secretly like, oh, that's a prime time for seeing weird stuff, but we want to play it safe, and it is a little spendy, getting 2 days worth of tickets to Contact in the Desert. So we're gonna take our time, and probably leave mid-morning or whatever, get down there, scope it out, and then Saturday, I asked Crooks on the trip, Pat, and maybe you can too, just with the business of the end of the school year for me. I like that schedule that you sent the link to us. So if you guys can map out Saturday, that'd be a huge help for me.
Yeah, we'll collaborate on that one and make it happen. Yeah, it's wall to wall. And, kind of similar to what you were describing with Alien Fest, where there's kind of the a la carte lectures where you can go and pay for lectures that way. Or I imagine there's probably a pass that you can get to get you through all that. But that'll be interesting. It's hard because there's so many good things happening at the same time. So you kind of have to pick and choose.
Yeah, it looked like we're going to get the day pass, and that gets us, into most of the activities going on that day, but they do charge, like individual speakers, maybe after you've seen them, present on stage, then later in the afternoon, they're running, a little workshop or an intensive as they call it. And, that seemed to be like an add-on fee, but we'll have to check out that schedule and really make sure we're getting, our money's worth on that day. And well, I think some of the events start early, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I think they run till pretty late, 11 o'clock at night. So
yeah,
it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, we'll have to put our hours in and scope it out this year. I don't think the volunteering is going to work, but we could ask folks there, hey, can we maybe volunteer one day to help us get maybe some, intensives or some workshops? Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome. Sounds like a great goal for the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you guys can, if you guys are feeling in the groove, you can keep going, but I better scoot off. But you're more than welcome to keep talking about stuff if you want to. But I think I'm going to bounce.
Pat, I got the neighbors outside. He's cooking food on the barbecue, so
I think it's a good time.
I probably ought to go
Good
too.
time.
So.
Okay.
Well, what
Do
does
we
he
need
got
to-
in store, Crooks? First of all,
Well,
what's Travis got online for you tonight?
Does he know your story about? Yeah, you got. You've told Pat what you did with the homeless?
Pat,
Yeah.
I think Pat knows about the
Oh,
homeless
okay.
feeding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
So yeah,
very
Tone got to
familiar.
hear some of that story.
That was cool.
And looking back, Pat, that
All right,
would
guys,
have
see you
been
guys.
great. All right. See ya.
No. If I leave, you guys can stay on for a little bit.
Oh.
You probably stop
You
the
guys-
recording.
Do we need to do a
That's
send off, Pat, or anything?
I think we do. There's also something that we didn't
Oh no.
say in the very beginning.
Oh God.
It's,
You know
it's
what?
rather crucial.
How about I just put the Corbell one in there,
Okay.
and that can be
Yeah.
the Let's Talk UFOs. But
Okay, that sounds fine.
You can send us off, Pat. I'm gonna
Right.
bounce. I better go.
Okay,
Okay.
see you, Tone.
All right, see you guys.
Later, Tone. Well, I guess we're a duo for now, Crooks.
Yeah, I gotta say, I saw you were sitting a little bit different earlier, and I could just see the top of the head of that character on your shirt, and I thought it was Spock for a long time.
No,
And now I realize it's Cousin Moe's.
it's
dude.
Cousin
So,
Moe's. Yeah.
Yeah,
do,
that's pretty good.
do you remember in the office he has that painting on his wall?
Yes.
That's it. That's the one, and Dwight is next to him.
Yeah. So good, man. I love that.
That's one of my all-time favorites. Like that, Cousin Moe's. He wasn't on there a ton, but every one of his appearances is really memorable.
No, like when it, I think towards the very end, they started to get him on there a lot more because they were filming, episodes out at Dwight's farm or whatever. But
Yeah.
initially, Mose would, just see a little bit of him, here and there. And that was just perfect, because it kept the mystery alive. Like, who is this guy climbing out of the, closet or whatever? He had some weird things going on with him.
Especially when Jim and Pam come to stay the night at the inn.
Yeah.
There's so many great moments of that. Look, he's putting on a show for you when he's jumping on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Oh man, probably another great one is when he goes out to the farm with Ryan, and he makes him wrestle. He makes him wrestle cousin Mose, and he's wearing that sweatshirt that says "Fear."
Yeah.
And "Fear" is written out in like electrical tape.
Yeah, so funny, dude.
Yeah, it's basically just endless fun. Mike Schur, though, who played cousin Mose, he was pretty busy at that time because he was an executive producer of the show, and then he also was responsible for one of the co-creators of Parks and Rec.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then there was another show called The Good Place. He was also the creator of that. So he had multiple things going on at the same time, which I think was one of the reasons why cousin Mose wasn't a present character as much as I would have loved to see him.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So, man, summing everything up, you've got a lot of traveling under your belt. You got UFO Fest, got Memorial Day weekend, and then we got the big event. So,
yeah, we got 3 jam-packed weekends right in a row here for people. But I don't know. I was kind of billing this, when people at work were asking like where I was going this week. I'm like, well, it's going to be our first business trip for the show. We're going down to check this thing out. But honestly, like it did not feel like work. I was kind of teasing when I would say that, but yeah, it was super enjoyable, man. I think you don't even have to like really be interested in the UFO UAP thing to like go to something like that and have a good time. So yeah, that was so well worth it. So I was thankful to go, and I can't, I'm looking forward to going again next year.
Yeah, me as well. So you guys held it down. That was fun to watch all the interviews and the man on the street interviews, and yeah, you got a sample of a kind of a little bit of everybody. I would imagine there was probably even a wider swath that you didn't even get a chance to explore.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were just kind of standing in one spot out in the middle of the street and just watching people walk by, kind of trying to guess, is that person look like somebody to be willing to talk to us? But yeah, we did it. We got some street interviews, and yeah, it was awesome. It was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know that you got barbecue. You got some meat waiting here on the grill, so don't want to keep you guys from that. But man, yeah, good times as always.
All right. Just, I guess, thank all our viewers for us again, Pat, and give us a proper send-off.
All right, we'll do that. Well, you have tuned in to another episode with the Extraterrestrial University, the ETU crew, live making it happen tonight. Crooks, Tone, coming back from a trip from McMinnville, Oregon, to be able to tell us about the insides and outs of UFO Fest. So, man, thanks again for the opportunity. Contact in the Desert 2 weeks from now. We get to make an appearance, the 3 of us, for the first time. So that's going to be exciting. I can't wait for that. Catch a plane from Spokane, Washington to Las Vegas, drive across the desert, end up in Palm Desert, stay for a night or so, and then Sunday night we make our way back to the Northwest.
Yep.
All right. Well, for that, I'll catch you all later.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We're still recording.
Are we? I thought I turned it off.
Oh.
Did I? Oh,
I don't know. I see the light on.
Yeah, dude.